Hello beautiful people, how are you today? And today I'm bringing you a tutorial on how to paint skin. And the first thing that you're wanting to do is you're going to want to get an outline, and you select the calligraphy brush and the brush pen, that's what it's called, in a dark color like black or brown, but black I personally do. You're going to create a new layer and name it outline. And you're going to basically just go over every little detail that you see. Well, not every detail, but just basically outline anything distinctive like piercings or details like a freckle or smile lines or anything like that. You're going to want to outline eyelids, eyes, eyebrows, just anything that you really see that, just brings attention to your eye and that you just, notice. Don't worry about making this too clean, because we will go back and this won't be here. This is just kind of like a guide for you, just so you can kind of tell where you're going, and yeah. And you're just pretty much gonna just outline everything. Her Cupid's bow isn't really that prominent, but you still want to outline it anyway, because you just want to make note that there is something there, even if it's not going to be too prominent, because later on you could always blend out a lot more. And yeah, after that you're going to want to hide the photo underneath and just figure out what it looks like, and if you pretty much got everything that you want. It's gonna look a little weird, but it's okay. And then after that you're just going to select another layer, name it swatches, and pick the round brush tool in painting. These are my settings. You're gonna want to hold down and pretty much find a medium color. This little circle thing should come up, and then you're going to want to find a shadow, and you're going to want to find a highlight. Typically fair-skinned people only have 3 colors that are just prominent and that are different towards each other than each other, and darker skinned and not fair skinned, but warmer tones are usually a lot more than 3. They typically have like around 7 actually. After you do that, you're going to want to create another layer, rename it color block. You're going to want to put that layer underneath your outline. If you hold down and just drag it underneath, it'll go there. And just, make sure that it's under your outline. And then you're going to want to hold down that middle color and color in all of the skin. With that, even the eyebrows. You do not have to color the lips, but you can if you want. It really does not matter. The only thing that you don't want to color is the eyes. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, because you can always go in later and add another layer on top of that. And yeah, you just pretty much want to just cover everything. You could use any size brush that you want. I typically go a little bit of a larger brush because it's just covers more and it's a lot faster. Don't worry about going over the eyes or anything, we'll clean that up later. Don't worry about, being too perfect inside the skin. It's not that big of a deal. After you do that, you're going to want to select the airbrush tool and soft airbrush, and you're going to want to mark out and make note where those shadows are, and then just pretty much add them wherever you can find. Really, just, they don't have to be too dark right now, don't worry about that. After you do that, you're going to want to make sure that it's just, see right now I am erasing the lips. You're going to want to make sure that it's on the alpha lock while you're doing the shading. See, this makes sure that it does not go outside of the part that you're coloring, outside of the line. And you just want to, you know, add in shadows and then highlights, and just pretty much switch back and forth between the different, hide the color block layer and then switch back to the photo and make note of where that should be and where it should go. And then you want to make it a little bit darker, and then just that color just a little bit darker, and add shadows where there needs to be, and slowly getting darker and darker until you get to like this kind of darkish brown color. You do not want to make it too dark. If you don't want it too dark, then you're going to want to make the brush size larger and the opacity lower. After you do that, you're going to want to add another layer and then go into and then name it, what's it called? Name it outline. And after you outline that, outline where those black lines were in a dark color in the same tool, you're going to take the finger icon, which is basically smudge, and you're going to select the saturation tool in the makeup, what's it called? The makeup bundle. I will link down below what bundle that is and where I get it, because it's not on Procreate itself, and it's only like $10, but it comes with so much. And later on I will be doing a review on what exactly it does come with. But this one, you're just gonna want to like blend out like as much as you can. Just blend it to where you can still see the line, but it's not as prominent and as dark. And make sure that this layer is on a separate layer and not your skin layer. Make sure that it's on top of that and just below the outline, so kind of in between those two. And you're just going to keep on blending until you really like the consistency. If you want it to be less blended, you want it at a smaller size and a higher opacity. I usually do the smaller ones on the more detailed areas like the nose and the eyelids. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much just keep blending. I kind of like to blend that top line of the eyelid down and out, just because it looks more natural and looks like the eyelid's going over the eye itself, and it just looks more 3D. And then after you do that, you're going to want to create another layer, name it Deep Dark Shadows or Dark Outline. And you're just going to want to put these in areas that you only want to be like really dark, which is typically the eyelids and underneath the nose and the nostril area and underneath the chin. And then you're going to want to select a smaller size brush with a lower opacity and just kind of blend it only a little bit, because you really want that. You want that line blended out, but you want it to be dark. See? And I typically go in circles where the nostrils should be, because it just looks better that way. And then you just want to, you know, play with it and just blend it to, you know, whatever you like. And you can up the size a little bit if it's like a bigger area, like underneath the chin. But after you do this, it looks a lot better. You know, you can just switch back and forth between whatever you want. And this is where you can, you know, see the difference between the outline and what it looked like before, which was, it looked like a raisin. And whenever you add those shadows, it looks more natural and less like a cartoon with just the outline itself. Now this part you do not have to do. I do it because it just looks nicer and it just looks a little bit more cartoony than realistic, and I like having that, you know, mix. What you do is you take a big size brush with a lower opacity and you go in this like corally orange color that's pretty bright, and you go all over the nose. And then whenever you want to add shadows to that, you just take a little bit of a darker color that's more saturated, and you just kind of go over that. See what I'm doing right now? You're just going to want to make it smaller. And I'm also going over the eyelids because I like to go over the eyelids with that. And just a little bit on the Cupid's bow, and then you make a larger size brush and you go under the chin. And a little bit around the face, just with a barely, you know, barely any opacity. And just kind of blend out until you like the way it looks. Yeah, and then you're gonna add one more layer, and this is just pretty much the highlights, and then that's it. After that, you're done. Alright, well, thank you guys. Bye. Have a good day. Oh, sorry, one more thing. After you do that, you're going to want to go back in the color block one, the color block layer, and you're going to go into skin details. I will link it down below. You're going to go to the bottom one, and you're going to select a lighter color and just kind of go over that. And also, if you want, you can add freckles. I typically do a light color and just a darker color, like a darker brown. And yeah, alright, thank you. Bye.
Confidence may fall. I'll be here as your foundation, and I say, hey.